Well, let's try this again. Hopefully, everyone can hear me now and see me now. And good evening. Sorry for the technical difficulties here. And look, this is the first time we've ever done a Facebook Live like this, as you can tell. So I ask you to bear with us. I know it's already what 9:36 on Thursday night. So bear with us. I have my AirPods in, so hopefully you can hear me well. We even got a new backdrop screen in the middle that we're using. So at the time of this recording, 9:36 on February 11. Hopefully by now you've eaten dinner, you're putting the kids to bed, and I know I need one. So I hope you have a good stiff drink on this tonight because that's going to make me sound a lot more entertaining and interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead and dive in here. My wife Xanath, she's behind the camera tonight. She's the only one that can see what's going on. So if you can't hear me or can't see me, keep posting, keep commenting, so we can see that. And as we go through this, I encourage you to ask questions, make comments, and at the end of all this, Xanath will read some of those questions out loud, and I'll take as much time as it takes to read all those questions. If I don't get to yours, I'll follow up with you afterwards. So I really have three main objectives here tonight. The first, I want to explain how the coronavirus changed the real estate industry, what happened last year, where we are right now, and where we're going in 2021. My second objective is I want to explain that even though we're in a hyper competitive market, both sellers and buyers can win big in 2021. And finally, my third objective, especially now, I want to try to get this all done in about 15 minutes and respect your time on this. So let's go ahead and get started. So, what did we just come out of? Well, COVID came in and interrupted our lives as we know it right around early to mid March. I remember it was the week of March 9th. Our kids had just started spring break, and we were heading to San Antonio for what we thought was going to be just a 1 week break of the kids being home from school. That turned into being 22 weeks for the kids being home from school. During that week, I remember events like the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo canceled the rodeo for the first time in 88 years. The NBA postponed their season soon after that. College basketball canceled March Madness, and even golf had to postpone the Masters. That was a very difficult week for us sports fans. As March rolled on, some parts of the country shut down completely, including the real estate industry. Fortunately, here in Houston, real estate was deemed an essential business, meaning realtors were still able to go out and show homes, and title companies were able to still close deals. Up on your screen right now, hopefully, you have a photo of one of our sellers who closed in April, and it was a true curbside closing. He would pull up in his car, the escrow officer would hand him the paperwork through the window, he'd sign, hand the paperwork back, and drive off, never even getting out of his car. Remember, this was still March, so the natural ramp up period of the market coming strong was already underway. COVID didn't really stop those plans for most people. It altered those plans a little bit, it delayed those plans a little bit, but overall, it didn't stop them. What COVID really did was create a market for people who suddenly realized, oh no, I'm going to be working from home, my spouse is going to be working from home, our kids are going to be schooling from home, and this home just isn't going to work for us anymore. People started to realize I either love my home or I don't. And for a lot of people, it was I don't. So they got into the market to buy because interest rates were low and the feeding frenzy was on, especially for homes with pools, homes with a home office or study, homes with an extra flex room for the kids' schooling, and homes with bigger backyards. June is when things really took off. If you thought the run on toilet paper was bad, you should have seen the run on homes with larger pools, more interior space, and better backyards. People were willing to pay whatever it took to find that stay at home resort for themselves and their family. One of my favorite memes that was going around in that time was the one where the realtor was asking their buyer, is this the kind of home you can see yourself being quarantined in? I think a lot of people asked themselves that same question, and a decision was made. Now, a lot of people didn't choose to move last spring or summer, so believe me when I say there is some serious pent up demand to move now. Overall, 2020 saw the most amount of homes ever sold, the highest dollar volume of all time, and the highest home prices of all time. So, where are we right now? Well, if you're one of my clients, every month you get an email from me called DT's Top 3 Takeaways, and it outlines what happened in the most previous month. So, fresh off the press, here's where we are right now in February 2021. Houston started the year with 31% fewer listings than January of last year. 31% fewer listings. The average sales price for homes this January in Houston was $326,000. Last January, the average sales price was $290,000. That's a 12.5% jump. Right now in Houston, we have a 1.8 month supply of inventory. Now, let me explain what that means. Let's pretend that no new listings were allowed to go on the market and we only had the currently active inventory that was able to be sold. It would only take us 1.8 months to sell out of all of the current active inventory. For some perspective, 6 months of supply is considered a balanced market, and we only have a 1.8 month supply. Bottom line, we need more inventory, but don't worry, more inventory is on the way. So, where is 2021 going? Well, expect 2021 to be another record setting year. Before I get into my predictions, let me tell you some of the projections that I'm seeing as I did my research for this. And by the way, my sources of information are National Association of Realtors, chief economists like Lawrence Yun and Ted Jones, and also Fannie Mae. So here's what we're seeing. Prices will continue to go up. The consensus seems to be that home prices will rise about 3 to 6% nationally. The number of existing homes, so resale properties, will continue to sell about 5 to 10% more units on that. It's the new construction that will really increase by almost 21%. In fact, more new homes will be sold in 2021 than in any year since 2006. Rising prices on the existing inventory and limited options for existing inventory are going to have more people looking for new construction options. Redfin actually predicts that the homeownership rate will reach 70% for the first time since 2005. 70% of Americans will be homeowners, and that's a good thing. There are some serious reasons for this optimism. One, the vaccine is here. Vaccine availability means faster job growth and more fluidity in the market. People need to travel again. People need to fly again and stay in hotels again, and they will. Another reason for optimism is we have record low interest rates right now. Right now, here in February, for a 30-year note, the average is about 2.75 interest rate. Now, that depends on your credit scores and your lender, of course, but let's just say 2.75 is the interest rate right now. Well, the Fed has already come out and said that no matter what happens in the economy, they're not expecting to raise interest rates till about 2023. Now, we've never been able to project the interest rate for more than even 3 months. So I'm not prepared to say it's going to stay low like this for 3 years. But for the rest of this year and even into 2022, I do expect interest rates to stay here. They may go up to 3.1%, but that's still historically low. The buzz phrase you're going to hear all year is work from home flexibility. If employees are discovering that they're going to be able to work from home and don't have to go back into the office, there's a high likelihood they're going to be looking to move. And with those moves, there are some major shifts that we need to talk about. The first is decentralization. You're seeing people move out of the city and urban areas into suburban areas, and people moving from the suburbs out into that rural acreage property. Between 14 to 23 million people are planning to relocate due to working remotely. And about 55% of those people are planning to move 1 or 2 hours away from their current home. People are going to move 1 or 2 hours away from their workplace, knowing that they may only need to go into the office 1 or 2 times a week. The other big shift right now is the changing face of relocation. A big influence in people's decision is finding commonality in ideology and values. You've heard the phrase birds of a feather flock together. Well, that's what's happening. Red state people living in blue states want to move to red states, and blue state people living in other blue states want to move as well. For example, New York to California on the higher end. People are flocking to lower taxes, less regulation, and warmer weather. Texas and Florida are growing. In fact, from the year 2010 to 2050, Texas is projected to grow by 30 million people. That's over 2,000 people a day. We're right in the middle of that population explosion. The other big shift going on right now is upsizing. You may remember that whole tiny house phase or the micro apartment. Yeah, that's out. The big house is back in. In fact, in July, Realtor.com put out a really cool article titled Big Homes Had Fallen Out of Favor. Then came the coronavirus pandemic. Now, millennials represented about 32% of the buyers last year. And in July, 52% of millennials were living at home with either one or both parents. Folks, that's 2.6 million extra kids living at home, and they're ready to buy. And I'm sure their parents are ready for them to get out of the house too. And instead of going for that starter home, millennials are foregoing the starter home to find bigger or more upscale properties. And instead of moving into urban areas, they're moving into suburban areas, which is a huge shift as well. There's always three critical factors when it comes to real estate: employment, interest rate, and demand. And we have all three in spades right now. So what does that mean? People are going to be employed, Interest rates are going to be at historic lows and demand's going to be sky high. We're going to need new inventory to increase supply, and we have to create more inventory overall. There's some serious pent up demand. So let me get into my bold predictions right here, right now. Bold prediction number one: inventory is coming, and the dam is going to break in May. Low inventory is here right now in January and February, and it feels like everything's being squeezed or bottled up. Buyers, don't worry, more inventory is coming. People are going to start putting their house on the market here in late February, certainly March and April, and that's going to set up May to be a big month where buyers will start to have more options to buy. New construction, like I said, is going to have to lead the way as more new options are presented for the buyers. And that's a good thing. I'm a huge proponent of new construction. Bottom line, May is going to be the new March. But if you need to move this year, especially if you need to sell your house first to receive those proceeds to move, what we call a contingent buyer, you don't want to be waiting until May. You need to put your house on the market now so you have all spring and summer to compete in this highly competitive market. Bold prediction number two: Houston home prices will continue to rise. We already talked about how the consensus seems to be about a 3 to 6% increase in pricing. Well, here in Houston, I'm even more bullish than that. My prediction is that home prices will rise 8% this year through the summer. And for those homes with big pools and larger houses and nice backyards, especially if they're in a good school district, home prices could rise as high as 10%. Bold prediction number three: sellers, and this may sound obvious, but follow me here. Sellers are going to be huge winners in 2021. Right now, your home is worth more than it ever has been before. You can sell your house for more money right now than ever before. So I hear some people say, well, Donald, I'm a little worried about that. I realize I can sell my house for a lot of money, but doesn't that mean I'm going to be buying at these high prices? Well, here's my suggestion for that: go ahead and sell that house and receive those mass proceeds from the sale of your home. Put those proceeds down in your next home and take advantage of these interest rates. You may find that even if you're moving up in home, by putting that money towards your new home as a down payment and taking advantage of these interest rates, you may find that you're having the same mortgage payment as before, but now you're in the home that you really want. Bold prediction number four: people will move to Houston from around the country more than ever before. And those already living in Houston are going to be moving 1 or 2 hours away, like we talked about. Despite current low inventory, more sales will happen in 2021 than in any year in history. And 2020 last year was a record year. It's going to be led by new home construction builds. And here's another way we're going to get new inventory: you're going to start seeing these high rise commercial buildings that aren't going to ever be used for commercial use anymore. That won't be their best use anymore. So you're going to see commercial buildings redeveloped into residential dwellings for people as well. And that's going to create more inventory as well. Wait for that to happen. Here's bold prediction number five: buyers who work with an experienced realtor will win in this business. I cut my teeth in this business in the same type of market back in 2013 when a little company called ExxonMobil announced that they were moving their corporate headquarters to Northwest Houston. If you lived in and around the Woodlands at that time, you probably had people knocking on your door asking if you wanted to sell. Well, that's the real estate market I was born into. I didn't know anything else. I had to learn very quickly how to fight for my clients and help them win these multiple hour situations. And now, unlike back then, I have a way for my buyers to be even more competitive. I have an avenue where my buyers can be cash buyers in this market. Even if they have a home to sell first, they can still be a cash buyer. Now, I'm not going to go into that too much here. If you have questions about how that works, we can talk afterwards. Let me know. But I have resources for my buyers to buy and be in a better leverage position than ever before. So if you think you're a contingent buyer, there are solutions for that. You do not want to be a contingent buyer out in this market. Sellers are going to have many options to sell to non-contingent buyers out there. So you need to work with a realtor who knows their solutions. Experiential knowledge matters in this industry now more than ever, and the DT team has that. People want to move. They have hesitancies, and we get that. They just need the right guidance on how to do it, and that's where we come in. So those are my bold predictions for 2021. I know it's a little later than we thought. I wanted to go quick. As you can tell, I'm extremely fired up for 2021. I probably get to talking fast and I get excited. We just truly want to help people navigate this. The DT team is going to be celebrating their 8-year anniversary here in March. And we've been through the crazy ups and downs of our market. We know how to navigate this. You can trust us with selling and buying your own home or with your referrals. Speaking of referrals, 96% of our business comes from referrals, whether that's past clients, friends like yourself, vendors, even Facebook, and even other realtors across the country referring their clients to us. And that's how we want to continue to grow. Our philosophy is simple: we're going to focus on our clients to do the best job we can for our clients. And we're going to trust that those clients are going to refer us to their friends and family as well. And as long as they continue to do that, we don't have to go and spend time advertising and knocking on doors and making cold calls. We can focus on doing the best job for our clients, trusting that they're going to continue to refer us. Your referral, that's your reputation, and we don't take those lightly. Our biggest goal is to have that person you refer to us come back to you and say, hey, thank you for referring DT and Xanath to us. They took amazing care of us. So I know a lot of people out there have some questions. They just want to know how the process starts. So if you know me, you know I love to teach. You know I have a heart of a teacher, and I just want to help you do it. So if you have any questions, you can send me a private message here on Facebook, and we can coordinate a time to chat. And by the way, I don't ever charge for any of these consultations. I love what I do. I love teaching. I love helping people know when's the right time for them to buy. So shoot me a message on here, or you can go to our website, thedtteam.com, where it has all of our contact information on there, and you can contact us from there. So with that, hopefully that was within 15 minutes. I know you guys waited a little bit extra time. I really appreciate that. Again, first time doing this, but hopefully we've made this interactive. I have a stiff drink here waiting for this afterwards too. I'm going to need it. But with that, I'm going to open up to any questions you guys have. Be getting your questions in. I know we got some questions earlier this week that we may start with that while you get your questions in, if anybody's still watching this. Um, but by the way, this video is going to be posted on our website. And again, that website is thedtteam.com. It's a brand new website we just revamped. I hope you go and visit it. You can read some of our testimonials and reviews from other clients and read about other sellers and buyers' experiences as well. So with that, I want to take a deep breath. Xanath, do we have any questions? And if not, maybe start with some of the questions that came in this week.
One question from earlier is, what do you suggest for people who love their home?
Yeah, so in case you can't hear, the question is, what about if we just want to stay in our home? And that's kind of where we were. Refinance. That's what I'd say to that. I mean, biggest thing I've been telling my clients, if you know you're going to be in that home for 3 to 4 more years, now's the time to take advantage of these interest rates yourself. Xanath and I refinanced our home back in December. We went from a 3.75 interest rate down to a 2.75% interest rate. That saved us $500 a month. Imagine what you can do with $500 a month. You can pay off some debt, put it towards savings, or even reapply that $500 as an extra principal payment to your loan and pay that off even earlier. The other thing I'd actually say too is, besides refinance, renovate. There's a reason Home Depot and Lowe's had their best years ever. People were putting more money into their home and improving their home. So, yeah, if you're going to stay in your home, I'd highly recommend refinance. If you need a good lender recommendation, we have some great lenders we work with, and renovate. Keep that maintenance of your home up. Next question.
Another one that came in was, there's a fear that there may be a crash again, like in 08 and 09.
Nah, 07, 08.
07, 08.
Yeah, don't bet on it. I'll tell you why. Let's just look at it. Back in 07, 08, we had terrible mortgage underwriting principles. That was the whole subprime stuff. If you had a pulse, you basically got a mortgage. Not today. These vendors are going to vet you hard. They're going to make sure you can pay that mortgage. So our underwriting principles on the lending side of things are much more sound. And here's the other thing. Back in 07 or 08, we had a huge oversupply of inventory. Back then, there was over 10 months of supply of inventory. Builders had been going nuts for years. Not now. Instead of 10 months of supply, we now have only 1.8 months of supply. So sound financial principles, low inventory, low interest rates, high demand, moving in the market. Yeah, it's not going to crash. I remember Mark Cuban coming out saying, right, low ball offers, the market's going to crash. Yeah, Mark Cuban wasn't too smart on that one. Next question.
I have a comment from Dana Metcalf.
Yeah.
She said my mortgage is going down $100 a month. I close next week and I'm buying a $400,000 square foot home with a pool and outdoor paradise. Almost $1,700 more square feet, and our house costs $100,000 more than I'm selling. And her mortgage went down
Yeah.
$100.
That's the interest rate right there. And that's what I'm saying. Take the money from your home, or if you don't have it, these interest rates are making homes more affordable than ever. So I love hearing that, Dana. I know you're killing it out there with Keller Williams where you are too, and fellow realtors. So I appreciate you tuning in tonight. So I love hearing that.
One question from earlier this week too is, what about people that want to build homes?
Yeah. You know, the cost of lumber is going up. I have some clients who own some land who were planning to build this year, and they met with their builder and said, hey, this piece of wood last year cost this. Now it costs this. So they're not building this year. But New home construction builders, they have a little bit more scale. They have a little bit more, they can share these expenses a little bit more. So these builders who build big homes, that's still a good way to go. Prices for new construction is increasing as well, but these builders, they know how to build. They're building mass quantities. Prices won't go up as much for new construction for main builders. But yeah, if you're trying to build in your own land for private building with a private builder, yeah, those costs are going up. Skilled labor is hard to find these days too, but the cost of lumber has really gone up, especially if you're trying to build, with your own private builder. So still go with these builders, the DR Hortons, the Lennars. We just got a builder under contract today, Case and Gray out in Katy. Great builder. I was very impressed with them. Pretty reasonable pricing too for now. And again, more new construction coming out will help those prices as well.
No more questions.
Okay. Well, that's it. If you have any more questions, get them in. I know it's almost 10 o'clock at night. I did not expect it to go this late. Thank you all for bearing with us. We'll go ahead and post this on our website. And remember, if you have any questions, we're here to help. Don't be afraid to get into this market. There's ways to navigate it. Take advantage of these interest rates. If you're a seller, take advantage of this market for sure. But if you're a buyer, don't be afraid to get in. There's ways to do it. You just need to be working with the right realtor, and we're here to help you. So that's about it. Appreciate you guys bearing with us. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.